It's a day 2 of the summit, and to set the tone and to welcome you all again, I'd now like to invite on stage Mr. Girish Bhagat, the Vice President of OM LAI. So please put your hands together one more time for Mr. Girish Bhagat.
Thank you. Thank you so much for charging up everyone here. Well, we begin day 2 deliberations, and after an exciting day 1, which really formed, laying the ground on, you saw, number of ministers, political leaders, policy makers, private practitioners. But yesterday, the theme was largely focused on government's role as a stakeholder in sustainable urbanization. Day 2, ladies and gentlemen, we will be focusing more on the private sector side of it. At the end of the day, it is a partnership between the public and the private that makes things happen in the domain that we are talking about. In the private sector, it's not just only owned by the private, but including government organizations which have been corporatized and which are making, which you'll hear a little later today in the day, which are making a significant new attempt particularly in the railways. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to extend all of you once again a very, very warm welcome on the day 2 of our conference. And with this note, I invite Mayank to set the theme for the discussions of today. Mayank.
I'm just getting a lapel mic. Like to show, lower body is not so bad, I can show it to you. So. Namaste. No energy. Bebop is coming today. Let's see the energy. Namaste. Namaste. I'm going to talk on 2 topics very briefly, 5 minutes. 2 things which I have been, Niranjan is here, so maybe he can correct me. I am not an urban planner, but I don't understand this entire focus on FSI or FAR. We have, in Hong Kong, we have 32, 34 FAR. But once, I mean, I sat there for 2 days consecutively just to see how quickly these guys come out of the office and go away without creating any disturbance. And it happens so quickly, so efficiently, so clinically. And 32 to 36 FSI. I used to work for a redevelopment area. So there were people living in small chawls, average size 150 square feet. The redevelopment, they were to be given 300 square feet. Suppose somebody would take, let's say, 1500 square feet. I'm just hypothetically saying. So the same number of people would have 10 times more house and put the same pressure on the infrastructure and onto the city. So the FSI increases by a factor of 10, but there is no load on the infrastructure. So should the calculation, should planners work on population density and infrastructure, or should it work on a very strange concept which I call FSI or FAR? Because your FSI increases, but the load does not increase. So that's one point I kept on thinking, and I thought I will just share it with you. I'm sure a lot of planners will come and say, "ये कौन पागल आदमी है? FSI से तो पूरा मुंबई चल रहा है, पूरा देश चल रहा है," and suddenly you want to throw it away. But I think there should be a different thought process to doing this. This was one. The second one is a bigger, maybe nothing to do with urban planning. But in this country, we are looking at all institutions, whether it is the legislative, whether it's the executive, whether it's the media, whether it's the NGO sector, or whether it's the bureaucracy. All of them are at loggerheads. And I believe that this is very harmful to this nation. Just to give an example, we have the judiciary, which now interferes in almost everything where the executive is supposed to work. Mr. Lohia with railways is here, and the High Court passes an order that the platform height has to be increased by a few inches. The High Court has to pass an order for the executive to do a work which they should normally be doing because people are dying. To increase the height of a platform, the High Court has to step in. Not just that, the High Court has to step in and see that it is properly implemented. So judiciary has no role to do that. But because the executive is not functioning, the judiciary comes in. And because of this, you get headlines and the judiciary will suddenly become heroes. So every day they will pass all kind of strange strictures. They will call the municipal commissioner, give him a dressing down. Nothing will come in the order. It will just be for the media and to become heroes. So this entire stress that is happening between the executive and the judiciary and the legislature, or you talk to any MLA, today there aren't any. If you talk to any MLA, MP, any politicians, they are saying, you do your work, why are you interfering in ours? So there is so much interference, so much involvement into each other's work. In a way we feel, these guys are not doing, at least let the judiciary come and do it. But on a long term, it's very, very dangerous if you build the stress and the strain between different arms of government. So friends, today is going to be an exciting day. Bebop is here. Okay? All the best. Thanks.